Hey you guys, are you ready to learn how to make a delicious breakfast burrito? Oh, good! Well, come with me.
Before I get started, I always like to wash my hands really well. So before you start cooking, you guys, make sure that you wash your hands, right? And there you go.
To make your breakfast burritos, you're going to need at least one tortilla per person. I'm counting on 2 eggs per tortilla because I want to make mine really full. Usually I only use 1 egg per tortilla, but let's see what happens this time. You're going to need some potatoes. Now, this is about 3/4 of a cup of potatoes. Once they're going to be chopped up, they'll be about 3/4 cup. But even if you have a 1/4 cup of potatoes that you can chop up and add to your tortilla, that works too. This is a little bit of meat. These are very small turkey meatballs that I have to bake first. But if you have any little bit of ham or deli meats or anything that you may want to add to your eggs, you can do that as well. Even tofu looks good, that tastes good as well. Then you have some melted butter, some shredded cheese, 1 dash of salt per egg, and a tablespoon of water so the eggs can get fluffy. Here I have my basic spices that I add to every egg that I make, which is nutmeg, paprika, and some pepper, black pepper. But you can also go frisky and add other things if you have in the house. These here are very nice for breakfast. So a little bit of garlic is nice for breakfast. Garam masala is a wonderful spice for breakfast as well. Sriracha, I think that's how you say it. That's a really nice spice for breakfast too. I wouldn't put maybe something too crazy, but you can look in your spice drawer and try to get creative. So after I cut the potatoes, it turns out that it's really about a cup of potatoes. So what I'm gonna do now with the potatoes is, well, this is gonna be a giant burrito. I'm gonna put it on this hot water here. So now it's on my hot water. It was boiling just a second ago, but I turned it off. So I'm turn on again. Okay, so now I have my potatoes here. They're going to boil. I'm gonna put a little bit of salt on the water, just to salt it. I think that's enough. And that's it. Now these potatoes, because they're cut very small, they're going to cook very quickly, you guys. So beware. Start testing them. How do you test potatoes? I'm going to get a fork here and I'll show you in a second. So got my fork. So they are not even boiling yet. But what you're going to do is you're going to pick one of them and you're going to just try to stab it with a fork. See, it does not want to go. It's really hot. Look, nothing, right? So when they're done, this will go in really nicely. It will not fall apart. So there's a middle term. You can't walk away and go play a game or something because then they might overcook. Just make sure to check them every, few minutes, 3 minutes maybe. Check them to make sure that they don't cook too much. Okay? You guys, this is crazy. It has only been 5 minutes, but because they're cut really small, check this out. They are ready. My goodness. I'm so glad I checked in 5 minutes. Check this out. You gotta come out now. So I'm going to drain them real quick. And I could now fry these real quick in butter, but it's not really necessary. You can use them just the way they are. And that's it for the potatoes. So I have my meatballs here, and what I like to do, I have 5, right? Because one is for my doggy. So I'm gonna cut this one here into 2 pieces, and I'm gonna save this for him. Look. Nom 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 nom. Sit. What a good boy. Can you shake a paw? Can you shake a paw, mama? Shake a paw. Shake a paw. Gentle. Oh, what a good boy. Good boy. Now these guys here, I like to cut them smaller. They're gonna go in my burrito, so I cut them in half and then I cut them like this, and then I cut them like this. So now they each little piece is cut into a small little piece of meat. And you can do this if you have little bits of ham, like I said, right? Any little bit of leftover meat that you may have, you can use it for your breakfast burrito. There we go. We got a little bits of meat here. So now I'm going to prepare the eggs. So I'm going to crack the eggs in this bowl here. If any crust falls in, that's totally okay. Just fish it out, right? So far, so good. And so what you're going to want to do is mix these eggs. So you want to mix these eggs. I took a little pause because I had to wash my hands. I had eggs all over. So I could use one of these. That's okay if you want to use one of these and mix your eggs with it. But I prefer to use a fork. I don't know, just always felt nice to me. Now you're gonna beat your eggs like that. And add this little splash of water to it. It's about a tablespoon of water. Now, I like to add, actually, instead of water, a little splash of cream or a little splash of milk. But I have very little cream right now and I want to keep it for my coffee, so I'm using water instead, children, which turns out super fine. This is actually French style, and that's going to be perfect. So since I have 4 eggs in here, I'm going to add 4 tiny pinches. 1, 2, see how I'm pinching? 3, 4, 1 per egg. That's it. All this leftover salt, I'm going to put it back in my salt container. That's fine. And again, I have 4 eggs. I'm going to put 4 nutmeg. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to put 4 pepper. And then I'm going to put more while I talk to you because I really like pepper. Hey kids, how are you doing? You doing fine? Yeah? So yeah, 4 pepper, as I said. Then I'm going to put some paprika. Paprika. 1, 2, 3, 4. And a little more for luck. There you go. And so this is my basic egg mix recipe that I use for my scrambled eggs, right? Scrambled eggs. It's really good. But because I want it to be a little spicy, I'm going to add a little bit of sriracha, maybe 4. And also a little bit of garam masala. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 per egg. This is going to be so good. All right. So this is it. This is what it should look like, all mixed together. And next step is frying these. So I'm going to use some of this butter that I had separated here. Just some, you know, some like that. Probably a little bit, so that is enough to coat the frying pan. And I'm going to heat that up. Let it melt real nice before I add my eggs. Okay, so I'm using this to spread my butter. And we're almost ready for the eggs now. I'm frying them on medium. Before I go ahead and pour my eggs, I'm going to test to see if it's actually even hot. See, if you go really close and you see those little bubbles around it, it's getting there. It's getting there. It's not super good. It's getting there. We'll wait a little bit more before we add the eggs. Okay, so I'm ready now. See how beautiful this butter goes from one side to the other. That means that it's probably really, really nice and hot. I'm going to mix it one last time and I'm going to pour my eggs. Awesome. And you want to kind of move this. See, I'm with the corner of my spoon, I'm kind of moving this around so that you make these nice scrambled eggs. Wait a couple seconds, move it around again without having any area that is overburned or anything. So this is how I make scrambled eggs. I'm going to split this in half. There we go. Wait a little bit more. Once the wetness is gone, I'm going to actually add my little bits of meat to this. You can also just not add the bits of meat. You can add it later onto the burrito itself, but oh, this is almost ready. It's looking really good. adding my burritos, adding my little meatball bits here. And that's it. We are ready. I'm going to stop this now. Put it away from the heat. And we're done. Okay, so now it's time for us to mount our burrito. So I'm going to put half of these eggs in it. About half there. Half of the eggs. And half of the potato. There we go. No, Oliver. Shoo, shoo, shoo. And I'm going to put half of my sprinkled cheese. There we go. So this is a lot of material inside this burrito. This is going to be exciting. I've never done a big one like this, so let's see what happens. So the first thing you want to do is, when you pour your filling, I made my filling a little long like this. That's a good thing. On the long side, I'm folding this, and I'm folding up the wide side of one side while I hold it. Folding this side here. Now I'm going to squeezing everything. This is kind of tricky. There we go. So now we have this guy, and you're gonna holding with both hands, flip it over. And there you go. So you have one burrito. So what you want to do with this butter is you want to paint this burrito, because we're going to bake this little guy a little bit, right? We're gonna bake it for about 10 minutes or so, until it starts getting golden on the corners. Then you can remove it. So there we go. Painted burrito. So my stove has been preheating and is now at 176 degrees Celsius, which is about 350 Fahrenheit. So here I have my 2 burritos. They're ready to go in the oven. And we're going to put them in. And in about 10 minutes, I'll come and check it out. So it actually took me 20 minutes to get a nice little golden color. I don't know if you can see with my camera, but it took me 20 minutes to get a golden color on the corners. I guess I had never measured the time that it took me before. So that's pretty surprising. I usually just put things in and then take them out when they look good. That's my style of cooking for you, children. Sorry. But it looks really good now. I just wanted to show you guys, this is the lemonade from the previous video with the cinnamon. It incorporates after a while and it just becomes part of it. It is the most delicious lemonade I've ever had. It is so refreshing, and I love the cinnamon on it. So I'm ready to eat this burrito now, you guys. I put a little bit of crema, natural, on top of my burrito. You can use sour cream, you can use nothing. You can just eat it with nothing, but I love putting yogurt and everything. I'm a little weird. So I put some yogurt on my burrito, and I'm gonna just take a slice here and see what happens. Take a look how it is inside. Looks really good. Yum. Look at that. It looks really nice. I think the cheese melted and everything. And the outside is crunchy. Let's see here. Definitely recommend it, guys. Mwah! This is amazing. Love you guys, and I'll see you later.